The phone slipped from my hand and crashed against the kitchen floor the exact moment I saw the message on my husband's screen. My heart stopped. The screen was still glowing, and the words staring back at me felt like a knife slowly twisting inside my chest. "Don't worry, she will be at the airport. We'll finally have the house to ourselves tonight." For a moment I couldn't breathe. The kitchen suddenly felt too small, too quiet, too heavy. The refrigerator hummed softly in the corner. Outside the window, cars passed on the street below, their headlights sliding across the walls like silent witnesses. But inside my chest, something had shattered. Have you ever discovered something so painful that your entire reality suddenly feels fake? That was the moment I realized, my husband wasn't the man I believed he was. My name is Elena, and that message appeared on my husband Mark's phone the same morning I received a call from my parents saying they were coming to visit after 3 years. 3 years, that's how long it had been since I had hugged my mother, since I had heard my father's deep laugh in person. They lived thousands of miles away, in a small town where time moved slowly and people still believed marriage meant loyalty. I stared at the cracked phone screen on the kitchen floor. The message was still there. My hands were shaking. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Mark walked into the kitchen, adjusting the sleeves of his expensive shirt, completely unaware that the world he had carefully built on lies was about to collapse. "You dropped your phone?" he asked casually. I quickly picked it up and placed it on the table. "No," I said quietly. "Just slipped." He grabbed his coffee mug and took a sip. "Did you call your parents?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "They're arriving tonight." He nodded. "Good." For a moment, his eyes met mine. Then he looked away too quickly. A strange tension filled the room. It was subtle, but once you notice something like that, you can never unsee it again. "Are you picking them up from the airport?" he asked. I felt my heart pound louder. "Yes," I said slowly. "I'll meet them there." That was the moment his shoulders relaxed. Just slightly, just enough, and suddenly the message I had seen made horrifying sense. "We'll finally have the house to ourselves tonight." Have you ever felt the moment when a lie suddenly reveals itself? When small details you ignored before begin to form a terrifying picture. Mark kissed my cheek as he left for work. "Text me when you get them," he said. The door closed behind him, and the silence that followed felt unbearable. I stood in the kitchen for a long time. The morning sunlight stretched across the floor. Dust floated in the air, and inside my mind, a storm was forming. Was he really planning to bring another woman into our home? Into our bed, into the place where we had built 5 years of memories? I slowly sat down. My hands were cold. I wanted to believe there was another explanation. Maybe the message meant something else. Maybe I misunderstood. But deep down, a quiet voice inside me already knew the truth. I picked up my phone and looked at the message again. It was from a contact saved as A. Just one letter. Short. Secret. My stomach twisted. Have you ever noticed how betrayal rarely appears suddenly? It hides in small details. Late night messages. Quickly locked screens. Unexplained smiles. Moments you ignore, until one day they connect. And suddenly everything makes sense. I walked into the bedroom. Our bedroom. The bed was perfectly made. The white sheets looked peaceful. Innocent. But now I couldn't look at them without imagining someone else there. Someone I didn't know. Someone my husband clearly knew very well. My chest tightened. 5 years of marriage, and this is how it ends. Tears burned in my eyes, but something stronger stopped them from falling. Anger. Cold, quiet, controlled anger. If Mark thought I was going to the airport tonight, then maybe I should, but not the way he expected. The idea formed slowly in my mind. At first it felt crazy. But the more I thought about it, the more it felt right. Have you ever faced a moment where you could either break down or stand up? I looked at the clock. 9:30 a.m. My parents' flight would land at 7:10 p.m. That meant Mark believed he would have the house to himself for at least 2 hours. 2 hours to betray me. 2 hours to destroy everything we built. Unless I arrived earlier than he expected. I opened my laptop and checked the flight schedule. Then I did something Mark would never imagine. I called a taxi. The driver arrived 30 minutes later. The city outside looked normal as we drove toward the airport. People walked on sidewalks. Coffee shops buzzed with conversations. Life moved forward like nothing had changed. But inside my chest, a quiet determination was growing. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. Not yet. Tonight, I wanted the truth. The airport was crowded. Suitcases rolled across shiny floors. Voices echoed from every direction. When I finally saw my parents walking through the arrival gate, my heart almost broke. My mother looked smaller than I remembered. My father's hair had turned almost completely gray. But their smiles were the same. Warm, loving, safe. Elena, my mother cried as she rushed toward me. Her arms wrapped around me tightly. For a moment, I almost forgot everything. Almost. My father hugged me next. You look tired, he said gently. I forced a smile. Just work. Have you ever hidden pain from the people who love you most? Because you don't want to break their hearts too. We drove home together. My parents talked excitedly about their trip. About the town. About neighbors. About memories. I listened quietly, but inside my mind, a clock was ticking. By the time we reached the house, it was 8:05 p.m. The lights were on. My stomach tightened. Mark's car was parked in the driveway. My father grabbed the suitcases. My mother smiled warmly. It feels good to be here again, she said. I nodded slowly. Yes, I whispered. Then I opened the front door. In the moment I stepped inside, I heard a woman laughing upstairs. My mother froze behind me. My father's expression changed instantly. And in that moment, I knew the truth had finally arrived. Part 2 will reveal what Elena, her parents, and Mark face in the most shocking moment of their lives, when the truth no longer has anywhere to hide. The sound of that woman's laughter upstairs echoed through the quiet house like glass shattering inside my chest. For a moment, no one moved. My mother stood just behind me, her hand still resting lightly on my shoulder. My father had set the suitcases down near the door, his eyes slowly lifting toward the staircase. And there it was again. Another laugh. Soft, comfortable, familiar. Not the nervous laugh of a guest. The kind of laugh someone makes when they feel completely at home. My stomach twisted. Have you ever stood in a moment where everything suddenly becomes painfully clear, yet you still wish you were wrong? I slowly stepped inside the house. The smell of unfamiliar perfume drifted down the hallway. Sweet, strong, definitely not mine. My father closed the front door quietly behind us. The click of the lock sounded louder than it should have. Upstairs, I heard footsteps. Then Mark's voice. Low, relaxed, careless. Don't worry, he said with a chuckle. She won't be back for hours. For a moment, the world went silent. My mother's fingers tightened on my arm. My father's jaw slowly clenched, and inside me, something that had been trembling all day suddenly turned completely still. Calm, cold. I began walking toward the stairs. Elena, my mother whispered nervously. But I kept moving. Each step creaked softly beneath my feet. The house felt different tonight. The same walls, the same pictures, but the air itself felt heavier, like it knew what was about to happen. Halfway up the staircase, I heard the woman again. So this is your wife's house? She asked playfully. Mark laughed. Our house, he corrected casually. Not for long. Those 3 words hit me harder than anything else. Not for long. Have you ever heard something that instantly erases years of trust? 5 years of marriage, and that was how he spoke about it. I reached the top step. The bedroom door was half open. Light spilled into the hallway. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. But